Welcome to Python Basics with EJD. In this video, our attention turns to printing in Python. How do you get to print in Python? From the one of the earliest things you get to do in any programming language is to type something like "Hello World," right? And we've been doing that even before now. There are three videos I've gone before this, and I think in every video I've had to do some kind of printing. So, but instead of just glossing over that and believing that you just know how to print, because I've done that a couple of times, I think I need to really explain how to print in Python. Don't forget my integrated development environment IDE in this case for Python is Google Colab instead of Jupyter Notebook that I've always been using. Interestingly, don't forget that Google Colab is built on Jupyter Notebook, and whatever you have in Jupyter Notebook can be uploaded in Python. I demonstrated, I think, in the second video or so. So you can bring your Jupyter Notebook into Google Colab, and you can also save whatever you do in Google Colab as Jupyter Notebook. So I'm going to open Google Colab as we journey on this. So Google Colab, click on this, go here. So this is I believe this is the fourth, this is the fourth lesson, this is the fourth video talking about printing in Google, printing in Python, of course. So this is it right here, our fourth lesson on Python basics. Okay. So by way of introduction, right? In Python, there are several ways to print output to the console. Here are some of the most commonly used methods. So we are looking at three methods. There are more methods than this, but these are the key methods. And of all these three, I find print and f strings the most important. You'll understand that as we go on. Okay, so print, format, and f strings. So without wasting time, let's move on to the print function. That's about the most used. This is about the most common thing you'll be using in Python, right? Okay, I have some outputs here, so let me clear them so we can start afresh. Good. So for the print function, like I said, you hardly open a Python session without having to print something, and that's why the print function is so important. So the simplest way to print output in Python is to use the built-in print function, So you can pass one or more arguments to print to be printed, to be printed, and each argument to be separated by a space by default. All right. So imagine that you want to print hello world as usual. That's what we like. Well, most people, any new language you're trying to learn, you like to print hello world, right? So in Python, because it is such a very simple language, you can just go ahead and print. So just print open bracket hello world like this, and then you can use this play button, or you can use Control Enter. Just like what you have here. So in this case, now just let me use the play button, and it takes a bit of time, and the result is returned. Okay, yeah, hello world comes out at me. So what if I want to say my name is Emmanuel and I'm glad to be here? So I just say print again. Then I put this in string. Now we're going to talk what in the last video, right? When I introduced the idea of naming variables. So one of the variable data types I talked about is strings. So we're going to be talking about strings a lot. So most times once you see something in red, they are most likely strings, right? So these are strings now. So my name is Emmanuel. I'm glad to be here. So I just want to print that. I just print. So in the first two cells, we have printed strings. So strings, once you have strings are usually in quotation mark, as we're going to learn, when we get there. And anything you put in those quotation marks, it can even be one quotation. Like instead of this one, I can just have this to be just one quotation like this, like that apostrophe kind of thing, just one of it, and it still works perfectly. So it can be two like what we had before. So whether it's one or two, not a problem. It still works the same way. Okay, right. So now, how about when you want to print numbers? Imagine now that I say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3.5, and z is x plus y. So print z. So you can use this, you can run like this, or you can use Control Enter, and then you get your result 5.5, right? That's x plus y is 2 plus 3.5, that's 5.5. So if you point at this, it tells you, okay, we're still going to talk about variable data types in the future, so not a problem, So but one beautiful thing about this is that if you point at the variable, it tells you the kind of variable it is. This one tells you it's an integer. This one is a float. And if you add an integer to a float, it automatically gives you a float. That's why Z is float here. We're going to talk in depth about variable data types as we move on after this video, I think. Okay, so now, here, this just return the answer. What if you want to tell the answer in a very interactive manner? Instead of just saying spewing at 5.5, you actually want to say something. So you can actually combine. So in the first case, now we have strings. We have strings. Here we have just your result. But here, what if we want to have string to tell to tell a story and then give the result? So what you do in that case is you say print open bracket, then the string, the solution to x plus y is, so that is string because it is in quotation marks. Then comma, this comma is important. If you remove this comma, it doesn't work anymore. Then you now say the z, that what you want to see, this z now will now come as the number 5.5. So I can run this like this, and it says the solution to x plus y is 5.5. Now what happens if I remove the comma, and I run? So you see, it tells me invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. In fact, that's well diagnosed that you forgot a comma. So don't forget your comma so you can get the result correctly, right? So another thing we want to do is this. We want to, so still on that now, instead of saying this solution to x plus y is z, don't forget that x and y are actually variables. So maybe you want to say the specific numbers you're adding. So you have used the variables to represent them. So variables can actually take any value. Basically, that's the idea of variables. That's why they are called variables. They can vary. But in this case now, the actual addition you're doing is for 2 plus 3.5. So instead of saying the solution to x plus y, you can say the solution of the addition of 2 and 3.5 gives, then you say comma z. So you're using string together with the variable to get your result. So you can use Control Enter or even Shift Enter, I think. Shift Enter. So Shift Enter works, Control Enter works. Alternate Enter will run it and then create a new cell in case you need it. So we are going to be using that as we go on in the future. So that's basically using the print function. You can see it is very straightforward. Okay. Now let's go for the format method, which is a bit more advanced than the basic print. But the funny thing is that all of them, every method actually involves the print word, the print function. Every method we are looking at involves print, except that maybe they are just it is print plus some other things. So talking about the format method, you can use the format method to insert variables or values into a string, right? So format, open and close brackets. Then you have the braces. The braces characters are used as placeholders for the variables or values you want to insert. So the thing about about format is that, you want to output some results using variable names, right? For instance, if in line 1, I say variable name is Medese, age is 21. So then I want to print my name is Medese and I am 21 years old. So what you do is, instead of just doing that straight, you now say my name is, so you have a placeholder using braces, and I am, for the age, you have that. But after the string, you now have dot. So this dot, if you don't put the dot, it doesn't work. Then you now say format name, comma, age. So this name now, so what is going to happen is that when you run this now, by the time it gets, you say my name is, it sees the first placeholder, then it jumps to format and says, oh, that placeholder should be for name. Then it jumps to name and says, oh, the name is Medese. So it says my name is Medese and I am, then it sees the second placeholder, jumps to format and says, oh, hey, age. What is the age? 21. Then if you run this now, it outputs my name is Medese and I am 21 years old. So dot format name, comma, age gives you that. And if you press enter, then that's what you get. My name is Medese and I'm 21 years old. Okay. You can even put a full stop right here if you want. You can do that. Okay, so we move on to still talking about format now. So I'm using other things. So now I'm saying, okay, let me shrink this a bit so we can see everything at once. Okay, good. So you have this now. So you can see I'm using variable names that are starting with capital letters. So they are allowed, just like we saw in the last video. And you don't have to space them out like this. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Not a problem. If you space it, fine. If you don't space, fine. Now I'm spacing, not a problem. If I did not space, that's okay too. So like I said the other time, my name is something something. So when the thing is about to print and it says my name is first placeholder, it jumps to format and says, oh, my name is name. So it comes here. Name is Emmanuel. So my name is Emmanuel. My specialty is second placeholder jumps to format and says, oh, specialty, mathematics. So my specialty is mathematics, and I am blah blah in a university. So it goes to format and jumps to and sees, oh, the third one is position, and the position is faculty. So it tells me my name is Emmanuel, my specialty is mathematics, and I am a faculty in a university. So if you run that, that's exactly what you get. That's what format does for you. So let's say I'm teaching a class, and in the class, I have people from Hong Kong, Japan, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom. So, and I want to represent all that. I want to use the format method to print that. So I say print the countries represented in this class are, then I have four placeholders, dash, 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 and the dash, right? So, and then I say, of course, I already stopped that, but then after the string, I can now say dot format, then n the variable names n1, n2, n3. Okay, like this is me scattering it, so it doesn't matter. But let me just arrange in order, not a problem. Anyhow you put it, it is going to work, right? So N1, N2, N3, N4, like that. So what happens? So it says the countries represented in this class are first placeholder N1, Hong Kong, it says Hong Kong, N2, Japan, it says Japan, third one, N3, Nigeria, it puts Nigeria, N4, it says United Kingdom. You run that, that's what you get. So the countries represented in this class are Hong Kong, Japan, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom. Now we go on to F strings. Now, F strings are very lovely. Like I told you initially, for me, the most important print methods are print the normal print because you can't do without it because it's everywhere. And then F strings are very powerful in the sense that the same thing we did with formats, F string we do them without having all the stress of adding dot format and everything to it. And as the name implies, F strings, you just need to add an F to the beginning of the string in your print bracket. That's all. And then instead of having placeholders, you put the variable names of whatever you want to put directly, and then it goes and trace the name for you. So as we have here, F strings are a more modern way to format strings in Python. So with F strings, you don't need formats, but you can't do without print because print is everywhere. So they are similar to using the format method, but use a more concise syntax. So instead of after using placeholder and then say dot format and then you now put the variable names, you don't need all of that. So to use an F string, you simply prefix your string. So that's why it's called string, right? You prefix your string with the letter F and use curly braces to insert variables or expressions. For instance, the same thing I did with Medesa the other time. I say, my name is Medesa, age is 21. So instead of doing what we did before and then say dot format, we don't need that anymore. We just say print. Then for the F string, you start the string with F. So it's like F and string. So you have F starting with the string, then you have the string. My name is, so instead of having just a placeholder, you just say placeholder. So you have braces and the variable name straight, and I am age straight in the braces. The other time we had empty braces, and then we now need to use dot format to retrieve them. But here you just remove that dot format thing and then use the braces with the variable name directly, and you get the same results like you got the first time with Medesa, right? So instead of dot format and all that, you don't need that anymore. So with an F, all of that is taken care of. So my name is Medesa and I'm 21 years old. The same for the second one I did, where I talked about you know, name Emmanuel, specialty mathematics. So you see, I don't have to say namespace equal to no. It's anyhow you do it, it's fine. As far as this, you have the quality and all of that. So, and these ones are strings. So I also use this to demonstrate. So if I see Emmanuel in string here, single string is fine, double is fine. But the only thing is that if you start with one, you must end with one. If you start with two, you end with two, basically, right? So specialty mathematics, position faculty. So then I say my name is name, my specialty is specialty, and I'm a position in the university. So once it comes here, it says my name is, so it looks at the variable and then it goes to retrieve the actual the value assigned to the variable. My specialty is jumps to specialty and sees mathematics. Position is faculty and jumps there and does that. And then you run that, you get exactly the same result. And just like what we did the other time also, we have the countries represented in this class are, instead of using dot format, just say N1, N2, N3, and N4. And then you get your results. So the countries represented in this class are Hong Kong, Japan, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom. And that's all about how to print in Python. So that's how to print in Python. So continue to enjoy yourself using all these print methods, especially print and F strings. Let me know how helpful this video is for you. And if there's something you'd like me to try out, feel very free to let me know also. If you have not subscribed to this channel, of course, you want to do that right away. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. You can become a member of my channel. Just click on join and you see three different levels of membership with special privileges, including having a one-on-one chat with me for whatever reason. And then you can get PDF copies of my notes. Of course, these code sheets are available if you follow the Google Drive link on YouTube or Facebook. You can click on that and it will take you to where a repository of all these code sheets. In fact, I advise you that you download all the code sheets first and then you start step by step so you can also learn hands-on. This is really important. All right. Ultimately, don't forget to like, share, comment. Of course, that have subscribed, join, become a member, and so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing Python right. Bye.